Boy, I've tried to record this video 3 times. You better just calm down. He might have to join us. Well, it's been a long time, and realistically a bunch of things have happened and I've missed my deadlines for a bunch of things, and yeah, I thought making YouTube videos when I had a baby was going to be at least a little bit easier than it has been. I didn't think it would be easy, but I thought it would be easier because I have, honestly, lots of free time. Yeah, even when your baby's sleeping, you don't want to do anything. I even put a poll on my Instagram asking if other mamas felt the same way, and it turns out you do. Right now, Andrew's asleep behind the camera on his swing, but he could wake up any moment, so I'm just gonna try and get this video sorted because it has been at least, I think, over 2 months since my last upload, and even that video went up later than it was meant to be. I guess I should say, hey, welcome, if you're new here to my channel. I did notice that we've now passed 100 subscribers, so if you have joined since I started vlogging my baby journey and my life story kind of, oh, I've got hair in my eye, then just know that I really appreciate it. I kind of started this out, I still am, I'm just doing this as a hobby as well as Twitch streaming, so if you're kind of into gaming at all, then definitely go and check out my Twitch channel. So if you didn't watch my previous video, my last video that I uploaded was uploaded later than it was meant to be. It was meant to be uploaded end of October, before Andrew's birth, but that didn't end up happening, and yeah, I thought I was going to be able to edit it within them 2 days of just sitting around outside the hospital. Turns out I didn't. I don't know what I got caught up doing, because realistically I had loads of time on my hands. Yeah, exactly like that. The only thing is that I got it up, and obviously I started getting people on Instagram asking me questions about the C-section and stuff and my experience, and obviously the big question of how big was he in the end, because if you didn't watch that video, basically I had to have a C-section because I was told my baby was possibly 9 pounds 4, and that could, vary up or down a pound, so they were concerned he could be 10 pound 4, and they just thought that with my frame and things, they thought it was going to end up being really traumatic. So I ended up taking the easy way out, and easy way out. And I want to say my biggest worry about a C-section was the after period, and I'm glad that was the bit I was scared of, because the actual C-section itself, completely pain-free, and it was easy. The doctors and nurses basically come through early in the morning after you've gone through your rigmarole, and they introduce themselves, they tell you what's the plan basically. I did get an ultrasound before my section from the doctor who's going to be performing the cesarean, and that was quite uncomfortable because they're kind of trying to find your bladder, and considering I had a big baby inside of me, they thought, they couldn't find everything, I guess. I don't know, but it was really uncomfortable. That was probably one of the most uncomfortable parts, because they're really pushing down in you there. But yeah, then me and Luke were waiting around for a while. I'll try and insert pictures as I'm talking about this. So I waited around with Luke for a wee bit. We were kind of just messing around. I think at this point I was just really excited because I was like, okay, it's happening. I've been waiting for labor. I was going to be 41 weeks the day after this, so I was just really ready to just not be pregnant anymore. And soon enough, Luke goes in scrubs, I was in my gowns, and yeah, I got whisked through with Luke. He was there through the whole of the C-section, which I can't commend my hospital enough for that. The whole time I was getting my spinal, the whole of the C-section, and afterwards I think he was in the ICU with me for a little bit longer than they normally say. They said 2 hours, he was in there a lot longer than that. The C-section itself and the spinal itself, the spinal, I guess, it's not uncomfortable. They don't let you see anything, they don't show you the needle or anything. I've seen some videos of people being shown the needle that's going in. Don't do that. Don't. It's better to just not know. I didn't see the needle at all. They didn't show me. They didn't explain everything to me in a crazy way. The guy that anesthesiologist. I never know if I say that right. He basically just took a really rough massage along my spine, and then he did an ultrasound on my spine as well, just to kind of like make sure everything was there and find everything, I guess. And then after that, he did the numbing injection. I should know what this is all called, but yeah, he gave me the numbing injection. If you struggle with getting cannulas placed, because that was another thing that was kind of difficult, if you don't like the feeling of cannulas and that sharp scratch that they always say is going to happen, if you find that difficult, that's probably going to be your biggest bear bug through the entire C-section. Getting the numbing injection in my back, and I also had to get one 3 times because I have very thin veins, and they were trying to put a grey cannula into my arm, which is just basically a really thick cannula. It's a very big tube. So they have to numb you to place that cannula in. So I got numbed in this arm, couldn't get the cannula to work. Numbed in this arm, still couldn't get it to work. Tried my hand, and well, she didn't numb my hand, but she tried to have a look and was like, no, I'm gonna try this arm again. So she numbed my arm again, and she eventually got it placed. So that was great. As she was doing that though, the anesthesiologist, there was 2 of them, he was in my back trying to place the spinal, and when you're numb in the back, I don't know how much of that stuff he put in my back, but I did not feel that spinal being placed at all, like not a single bit. And he did say to me very quickly, you're gonna feel your bum feeling like really hot, almost as if you're sitting on like a car seat warmer, and honestly that is the best way I could explain it. You feel like your butt is like starting to like get really hot and sweaty. Ended up happening quite quick. It actually worked a lot quicker than I thought, the spinal, but that's kind of what you want. So almost immediately after he did the spinal, he said, right, is cannula good? Yep, good. I think after the cannula was placed, he was still placing the spinal. So there was another like nurse, I think it was, who was putting all these like stickers like underneath my chest, and all they were placed. So all they did after that, once the spinal was placed, is they just laid me on the bed, and at this point I was like kind of excited, and I definitely felt a bit weird because no matter where I looked, there was just doctor and nurse and midwife and anesthesiologists and just a lot of people in the room, but I just kept focusing on Luke because realistically the best thing for me was to just focus on Luke and why we were there, and to not overthink, oh, there's a lot of people in this room, is this gonna like go wrong? But basically the C-section was very quick. All I felt was like, it felt like someone was just giving me the roughest massage on my stomach I've ever obviously felt, and I thought, oh, okay, like they're just trying to like feel where he is and his position and stuff there. But at this point I'm just laying on the bed with my arms across. I wasn't on oxygen or anything, I guess I was fine. But I had a cuff on my arm that was going off every like few seconds for my blood pressure. And I also had my cannula that had 2 tubes coming out of it. There was like 1 tube that split into 2. Oh, and I had a heart rate monitor on my finger as well. I just realized I'm making this sound so chaotic, but I guess it was because it happened all really quickly. So it was kind of chaotic in a sense. Yeah, I was focusing on Luke, to be honest, and just talking to him, and he said, you alright? Like, he just kept asking me if I was alright, and I was like, yeah, are you? He's like, yep, he says, and I was like, you can't see anything, can you? And he's like, nope. Because I said to them I didn't want to see anything, because I thought if it was someone else getting it done, I'd be very intrigued because I'm very nosy, I like things like that. But when it's yourself and it's that situation, I thought I don't really want to chance looking, because just in case it weirds me out because it's my body and I can't feel it. I just kept the drape up the entire time. But yeah, Luke had actually seen almost everything. He looked up at the theatre lights and they're really reflective. So of course he had seen it, so he just looked down and seen everything. But he was very sly about it because I had no idea. So he must have knew that they had already like started doing their thing. And I was none the wiser. I had no clue that anything had even started. I just felt a really rough massage on my stomach. Turns out that rough massage was my baby being born, because literally a matter of like 10 minutes later after walking in there, or 15 minutes later of walking in there, I suddenly just hear this cry, this little faint shriek of a cry, and I just immediately started welling up, and I looked at Luke and I just looked at him and went, is that our baby? And that feeling, okay, that feeling is an unexplainable feeling. It's the most immediate love that you can honestly ever feel in your entire life, is hearing that little cry and knowing that that human being is yours for the rest of your life, and you're gonna have so many crying memories with them. What? You gonna start up? And but yeah, that is just a feeling I'll never be able to explain in words, because that is just a different kind of love. And they obviously pulled him to my right, and I'm still hooked up to everything, and they're just holding up this baby that is crying in my ear, and he's covered in blood, and he's covered in the vernix, I think it is, the white stuff. I just remember sitting there and I was like, oh my god, he looks gross. Oh, but my immediate thought was, of course, is he being born right now? Like, that is crazy. They wrapped him up. I'm obviously again gonna try and put pictures up. They wrapped him up, and after they weighed him, and they said, your baby is, drum roll please. I hope I can put a drum roll in here in editing, or else I'm gonna look like such an idiot. But drum roll please. He was 5,050 grams. And if you have no idea what that means, don't worry. I didn't either when they said it to me on the table. So I just sat there and was like, what? Me and Luke just looked at the midwife and was like, what's that in pounds? So it didn't hit us immediately. So drum roll again. He was 11 pounds too. He was, in fact, the biggest baby apparently my daughter has ever delivered. So that was quite ridiculous. I had an 11-pound too, chubby, puffy, gross looking, mucusy baby, and honestly he wasn't that gross at the time, but looking back he looked pretty dirty and nasty. But at the time it was just like, oh my god, this is my puffy little baby boy, like, oh my god, he's here. And I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Oh my gosh. So because he's kicking off, I think I should introduce you to Andrew, and he's a lot bigger now, but he was 11 pound too, and I'll obviously insert clips of him at that time. But give me 1 second, I need to get him before he starts crying. Ooh. Does it feel better to be out? So, without getting my titties out, I'd like to introduce you to Andrew. This is my son. He's now, how old are you now? 2 months, over 2 months old. And he is mahusive. Okay, while he's calm and he's sitting next to me, I might have to feed him, so I'm gonna have to try and make this quick. But yeah, I guess the only problem was I didn't realize, but all of a sudden when he was born, they gave him to Luke, and I just started noticing they were throwing in a bunch of different medications in my IV all of a sudden, like just one after the other, and I had no idea what it was. They didn't tell me, but I also didn't ask, and I started feeling horrendously like I was gonna, like, nauseous. I thought I was gonna throw up, like, on the spot. And I don't know if anyone's ever been sick laying down before. Like, obviously when you're laying down and you think you could be sick, you immediately want to sit up so you can throw up. I didn't have that option, so I just said to them, I think I'm gonna be sick. So the midwife took the baby off of Luke, took Andrew off of Luke, and she held him while Luke was holding a ball, and they said, we've just gave you some anti-nausea medicine. It should work within a matter of seconds because it's in your IV, so try and just breathe it and breathe through it. And I looked at him, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I'm normally pretty good about throwing up, but I knew I was gonna be sick. I just looked at him, I was like, no, I'm really sorry, I'm gonna be sick. Oh, actually, I'm explaining this wrong. So at this point, Andrew was actually placed on me. Now the whole time he was with Luke while they were trying to get, like, the cuff off my arm, and I think there was something else on this arm, but they were trying to get me, like, free enough so that I could hold him. So they took my gown down a little bit. I was obviously nudie tootie underneath, and I really wanted to do skin to skin. So they immediately placed him on my chest while I'm laying down, and I have one arm free and I'm holding him, and just the joy that was going through my body. I have never felt happiness like that in my entire life. It was the best feeling in the entire world, and I will never forget how happy I was to finally hold him, because I had watched the midwife holding him, I'd seen him when he was all yucky and then he was all cleaned, and I found out how much he weighed, and I was just overcome with all this like joy. And I guess I was kind of proud of myself because I wouldn't say I had major complications through my pregnancy. I guess at the end I was feeling pretty heavy and I was walking around like doof, doof, doof. But I just thought it was normal. So I kind of ended up having this bit of like pride for myself that I got through a pregnancy of an 11-2 baby, plus all the extra weight that I had gained. And I just got on with it. I didn't have any complications. So I was really proud of my body and myself. Where are you going now? And I finally got on me, and I got to have skin to skin, which is something I was very excited for. And then that's when I needed to be sick, and I was like, no, I'm gonna need a bowl. And they were like, just give it a minute, because he'd only just been put on you, we've just gave you anti-sickness meds before you even held him, so it should be working soon. And I was just like, no man, I'm gonna throw up. So I was really emotional then, because I just got my baby on my chest after all of this waiting, or what felt like all of this waiting, but also the pregnancy itself. And then I needed to be sick horrendously, and the midwife had to take him off me and wrap him back up again and hold him for me. And that was really upsetting, because I was like, I just got my baby, man, I want to cuddle him. So I was sick for a good solid almost 10 minutes, I think it was. I was just being sick bowl after bowl after bowl. And the hardest part was probably that in the entire C-section, because throwing up when you're laying down and you're not able to like sit up is really scary. So the whole time I'm just trying to like really throw my head to the left so I'm not gonna choke on it or something. Like I had this fear that I was maybe gonna choke on my sick, but it turns out it was just probably a reaction to the medication. But it also turns out, and they didn't tell me this until hours later, but I actually lost what they said was quite a lot of blood. They said that I lost 1,200 litres of blood in the surgery, and I didn't realise this. I wasn't told this until like hours and hours later in that same afternoon. But eventually stopped being sick, we'll get past that now, and got him back on my chest, and at this point I was almost completely sewn up. Oh, you're so strong. He's trying to practice sitting up, so you'll put him in the corner of the couch and he'll be laid back all the way up here, and he'll just be like, eh, eh. But he's like starting to successfully pull himself forward, which is quite cute. But I just have to watch because I don't want you to fall off the couch. Yeah, at this point I was sewn up. I guess that took the longest part, but it went so quickly because I was holding Andrew at this point that I really didn't mind. Again, I only had one arm free because I had a bunch of medication and fluids on at this point, so I wasn't allowed my left arm free, but I did get my right arm, so I was just kind of holding him, I was stroking his cheek and things. But yeah, we were just, spending time with him while I got sewn up. You don't feel any of that either, you don't even realise it's happening. And then all of a sudden, the doctor said, I think the doctor actually was having jokes with us, but because of course, jumping back to his size, because he was 11 pounds too, obviously Luke was asking everyone what was the biggest baby that he had delivered in that hospital, and I think the biggest they delivered was 12 pounds something, so we were close, but obviously not as big as that. Like, my heart goes out to whoever had that baby. Yes. What's the biggest baby you've delivered personally? And she said, oh, this one. She says, I've never delivered a baby this big. So that was an experience for her as well. So we kind of just had, banter through the rest of the C-section, just laughing about how big he was. And I'm very glad that we did do what we did. I am. I'm very glad that we did. It honestly was just a bit ridiculous, to be honest with you. I don't even know why I was so scared, because the C-section was very good. The after bit, if you want a video on the after part of a C-section and tips that I have, let me know down below, because the after part was a bit I was probably the most scared about, and it was the most difficult part of the entire C-section. The surgery itself and the few days in hospital are not that bad, because even in hospital they give you some strong painkillers, not IV ones, just really strong liquid painkillers. So in the hospital you'll be a bit uncomfortable, but you'll be able to move around. When you get home and you've not got that same pain medication, it is a whole different ball game. All you want to do is lay down and find a comfortable position. Ugh. Ooh. Oh, you drooling? That's nasty, man. Sorry, he just started crying, so he's back. Say hello. So yeah, I think I spent 3 days in hospital, 2 nights after the surgery, obviously. So he was delivered on the Thursday. Saturday evening I got discharged and I went home. Realistically, I think that's quite a good recovery time in the hospital. By this point I was like away from home. I hadn't been home in 7 days, 7 days. So I was really eager to get home, and then once I got home I was like, oh wait a sec, the hospital was so much easier. Okay, before he gets really upset with me. You're very angry. Okay, we need fed. Yeah. I'm just gonna go feed him, and then I'm gonna have to wrap up this video. Say bye, guys. I'm gonna go get some food, some boobies. You're not even looking. Say goodbye. He's still not looking. Right, I'm gonna go feed him, and then I will wrap up this video for you guys. But yeah, that was kind of a very rushed version of my birth story, kind of, and my birth experience with the C-section, and obviously the results of my sumo baby. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you have any video ideas or like any of the suggestions that I've brought up, definitely let me know down below, because I am genuinely just not sure what you guys would want to see from me. I also don't want to make my channel purely baby content. I want to make content that's about me as well, so if you have any videos you want to see about myself, then definitely let me know. Also, if you want to follow me on my Twitch channel, I am going to be streaming gaming if you're into that. In the evenings when Andrew's in bed, and obviously his dad is like in the bed next to him. I'm going to be doing that to just kind of get back into that because I miss it a lot. And also follow me on my Instagram. I obviously have live updates there. And yeah, we'll see you later, because he's getting really angry with me now. Very angry.